What's up? What's up? Oh my God, Dave Smith says that on his show. I should probably not do that. What up?
That also Martin from the Martin Lawrence
What's
the
up?
Martin show.
What's
What's
up? No, is that one
up?
from the Scream movie? What's up?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't
Yeah.
remember. I'm old. We are back. We are back. I don't even know what episode this is. We've been gone for a while, but we're back like we never
Yeah.
left.
Unless you are all, binge watching, it's like nothing's changed. Nothing's happened. So
Except on the cusp of World War III. But besides that,
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
is
Welcome to
this
the Have You Heard podcast, everyone.
is this episode 8? I think so.
I think so.
We're gonna figure it out. We are gonna figure it out. Welcome, welcome. How are you?
I'm great. How are you doing?
I am doing fantastic. I am glad that we're back. It's been a long time. There's been so much
Yes.
going on that I'm
Yes.
excited
A lot.
to the pod. I am gonna confirm that this is the 8th episode, but I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah, we have a lot to cover.
We do. We do. Again, welcome everybody. I hope you are all having an amazing day. We're going to get ready to ruin it probably a little bit. Unless you're looking at this from the bright side, the spiritual side, the side of God, then you're good. You got no worries.
And you're all right. We gonna be all
You're
right.
all right. You'll be all right.
I think the last time we recorded was yep, this is episode 8. The last time we recorded was probably a month. No, maybe 2 weeks ago. I think 2 weeks ago. Yeah, 2 weeks ago.
Was
We're gonna
it? Was
try
it
to
2 weeks
yeah,
ago
it's on
Father's
our
Day?
page now. It says 2 weeks ago that we posted. We're gonna try to
My
keep it short and sweet
Instagram
today because
says,
what does it say?
let me see, June 8th, 21 days ago.
Oh, then I posted it a week later because on our YouTube page it says 2 weeks ago. But we'll get right into it. We have a lot to talk about. I've been quite the angry patriot these days, I think.
Yes.
I almost wore my shout out Vinny, Theo Vinny. I almost
Yo,
wore
Vinny,
my
you gotta
I almost wore my
stop.
angry patriot hat today because it's been an interesting week, or actually several weeks. Um,
Yeah.
like I said before, on the cusp of World War III, it's been a little psychotic these days. Do you want to give a quick rundown or I can go? How do you want it? We have a lot to say.
We have a lot to say. I think, you know, so from my point of view, I was a little bit confused about everything that was going on because I'm not a I I'm not a war person. Okay, like I've never been into like war documentaries or war movies or looking into why wars are happening, which is probably not great, but I don't like the concept of war. I don't like that a lot of our big box like grocery stores, I ain't gonna say no names, fund wars, a lot of these, I hate the entire concept of it. So I really didn't know what was going on until I watched that clip, which you're going to share at some point today, of Anna Kasparian. I hope I'm saying her last name
You
right.
are. Shout out to Anna
Okay.
Kasperi. We love you.
Shout out to Anna
New fan. I'm a
Kasparian.
new fan because I wasn't a Young Turks fan before, but yes, Anna Kasparian.
Yeah. She broke it down in a way that made sense to me while she was on the Pierce Morgan show. Pierce Morgan, right? That's his
Yeah.
name? Yeah.
Mhm.
The way that she explained everything, I was like, oh, well, that makes a lot of sense. I also was watching the live emergency podcast, the PVD podcast. Vinny, shout out to Vinny. You had some really amazing points in that. I think that, people
Shout out
who have,
Valuetainment, by the way. Shout out
shout out
Valuetainment.
Valuetainment. Pat, I'll always love you. You're my CEO always, even if I don't work for PHP anymore. Um, but I feel like a lot of these voices, especially people who, it's interesting because I was gonna say conservative voices, but I don't know if Anna considers herself a conservative at all. I'm not 100% sure, but just these voices of reason, that these
Mhm.
people who are of sound mind, who aren't just on one side or the other, they're kind of looking at this as like, okay, this is our country. This is, where we are. Why are we interjecting ourselves into this? I think those are the voices you need to listen to. So yeah, I feel like I'm a little more, what's the word? I don't want to say I'm completely caught up because this is years and years and years and
More aware,
years.
probably.
Yeah, I'm more aware of what's going on, but this is so many years of conflict to try to unpack. So it's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah, I think the last couple of weeks, I've been very vocal. Everybody knows that I voted for Trump. Also, everybody knows that I hated Trump and I didn't vote for him in 2016, and I voted for that crazy woman. But I think we are at a time in this country where people who voted for Trump are considered like the MAGA cult. Like this is like if you're, before it wasn't cool to say that you voted for Trump in 2016. People were getting punched in the back of their head if they had a MAGA hat on.
Mhm.
People are more vocal. I think it's because we see how, well, for me, I'll speak on my behalf.
You come a little closer.
Yes, 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 yes. I'll bring it a little closer.
Sorry.
No, no, you're good. I was trying to just I don't know what I was doing. But for me personally, people see it, people see people who voted for Trump as this like MAGA call. I get why they say it because they're people who are Donald Trump all the way, no matter what. I'm not that type of uh Trump supporter, if you would,
Yeah.
to be called a Trump supporter. More you got to call your own party out. And I've gotten a lot of heat in the last couple of weeks because I was talking on Facebook and Instagram, pretty much talking crap about the decision that the president took on bombing Iran after Israel bombed them. So I'm sure everybody knows. If you don't know, well, you're going to hear it quickly. But Israel and this Iran conflict that's been going on for years, Israel went and pulled the plug and did bomb Iran, and Trump just jumped ship, or not jumped
Followed
ship,
suit.
jumped right on board and followed suit.
Yeah.
Excuse me. So I made a status calling out Trump, basically saying, Israel says jump and America says how high. And it's just been
Right.
an ongoing thing all over social media. And I think there's been a divide with the MAGA Trump supporters because one of the main reasons that a lot of people, I'll include myself, voted for Trump was our foreign policies and the no war stance that he took. He was very vocal on his
Right.
campaign: no new wars, no new wars, no new forever wars.
Right.
However, 6 months into his campaign, he bombs Iran. And
Right.
the reason behind that was they were going after the nuclear facilities, the nuclear weapon facilities that Iran had. I think they had three locations that were bombed. Um, but it's been very controversial. There's been a divide. You've got big time names: Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, Joe Rogan,
Tucker
Steve Bannon.
Carson and
I'm
Candace
sorry, Tucker
Owen.
Carlson and Candace Owen. Shout out. We'll talk about that later. Have been very vocal. Even MJT, Marjorie Taylor, no, MTJ, Marjorie Taylor Greene, um, super right conservative. It's like, I'm not down for this. This is not what the American people want. This is not what we
Yeah.
voted for. We voted for no new wars. So a lot of people in the MAGA, space
There.
are
Yeah.
not happy with the decision that Donald Trump took in bombing Israel, and I'm sorry, bombing Iran, and people are pissed about it. I guess if you have an opinion against Trump, you're no longer MAGA, or you are just a lefty liberal. So there's been a quite divide between the movement, and it's been very interesting to see because I think that when you idolize a man, aka Donald Trump, and not God, that's when things start to happen. And I think a
Well,
lot
you
of
have
the
to
MAGA.
you
Yeah,
got to throw in there the whole, we talk about this all the time, the black and white
mm-hmm.
thinking that people have. It's a hate or infatuation with a lot of things, not
A
even just
person.
the
Yep.
president. Yeah, just with you don't have to go hard or go home, people. You can have your own mind, and your mind can change. You're a human being. That's how it should work. You shouldn't stand on a hill and be like, well, I'm on this hill, so I'm gonna die on here, and that's it. No, if you don't like that hill, you can go somewhere else, or it's just, that's a big factor as well. It's like you said, the putting all of your faith and love into a man that is not God, first of all,
Yeah.
and the black and white thinking. Both are very toxic, and it's not good. It's not good.
Yep. And I will say this: I do not regret my vote. I will say it loud and clear. I do not regret my vote, considering the alternative, which would be Kamala Harris. But people are getting a lot of heat. Candace Owens said she's embarrassed that she told people to vote for Trump. Dave Smith regrets voting for Donald Trump. I won't say that because there are other things that I am proud of that the administration has accomplished, like the border. The border is completely shut down. There's certain things that I am happy with, so I will never take it to that extreme. But it seems like everything's an extreme now. Either you're for or against, either you're black or you're white. It's just crazy. There's no gray area for anything. And because we are something that's called human beings, where there's going to be gray area. Um,
Right.
Recently, Tucker Carlson did an interview with Ted Cruz, which was iconic. Some will say. Did you emailed me that, or was that on the drive? The
Yes, I emailed it to you.
fantastic because I just shut my email off. But um, basically, it all ties in again. Big names like Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens, Joe Rogan, Steve Bannon. Steve Bannon literally went to prison on the behalf of him defending Trump and the Trump administration. Like he is a Trump, he's a forever Trumper. However, he's just like, I don't want innocent people to die. This is bad for the United States. This is
I
really, really
agree.
bad.
I agree. And I
Um,
just want to touch on the point that you made about how a lot of these big names say that they regret telling people to vote for Trump, like Candace Owens.
mhm.
I could understand where she's coming from just because we talked about this yesterday. It's different when you're, you voted and you didn't. I'm not, I don't want to use the wrong language here, but you voted for what you believe in.
Right.
And when you have a big name with a loud voice, 5 million almost followers, I believe that Candace has at this point, it's
Almost
kind
5
of
years.
like, yeah, a huge majority of voters were swayed one way or the other. A lot of people were undecided and didn't know what to do. So there's
Yeah.
probably like a guilty conscience that a lot of these people, like Candace Owens, especially Candace Owens, because she's somebody with a big heart. Everything that she does comes from good intention. So it's like,
Shout out
it's
Candace
probably
Owens.
like yeah, it's probably coming from like a damn, like I really swayed X amount of people to go ahead. Like I
Mm,
pushed this man's campaign. So it's probably a little bit of a harder pill to swallow for somebody like her who is a free thinker and has her own mind and isn't just a forever Trumper.
I see your point. Yeah, no, I actually, you definitely shed some light because that definitely makes a lot of sense. But yeah, I guess you're right on that one.
It's probably got to be like, oh, I did that, you know?
Yeah, I understand it. It's just I think, and it's a both side issue. When
Yeah.
when the opposing side falls short, people want to rejoice and want to be like, nah, 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 I told you. And I think
Mhm.
that's what people think that they're doing against me. I've
Right.
gotten DMs, I've gotten comments, I've gotten text messages, all just dumb shit like, you mean to tell me the guy that you've been advocating for years and voting, voting for and blah blah blah, you want him impeached? I'm like, never said that.
Never said that.
Never said that.
Again,
Um,
it's that black and white
it's
thinking. They
emotions, yeah.
can't. Yeah, they physically do not have the capability to stop doing that shit. And I don't think they realize how bad it is. Like you don't have to be impulsive. You really don't. I just
It it's
you know how
so
I feel about
bad.
generalities.
Yeah, no, it's so bad. So, without further ado, I do wanna play this video. It's 9 minutes and 55 seconds. I think it's a good, watch. It's worth watching
It's
just
like a
because
sampler. It's good.
yeah, it's anybody that has time, whether you're, like, driving to work, jumping in the shower, doing yard work, whatever it is, watch the whole podcast on YouTube on Tucker's page just so you can see it in its entirety because it's a good one. But we are gonna share I think it's 9 minutes and 55
55
seconds
seconds.
because it's a banger and I think people will get something out of it. And that's always our goal is to um, provide anything that's substantiated, that's facts. It's coming out of the horse's mouth. It's not me or Moxie saying my opinion about Tucker or my opinion about Ted Cruz. It's the actual verb
Yes.
coming out of their mouth. So we're gonna add this and we're just gonna
At
here we go.
the single criterion for making decisions about America's foreign policy is America's national interest.
Yes.
That's it.
Yeah. Which is also America first. That's another way of putting that
I
as
think
well.
it's the definition of it.
Yeah. I came into Congress 13 years ago,
Yes.
with the stated intention of being the leading defender of Israel in the United States Senate.
Great.
And I've worked every day to do that. By the way, Tucker, it's a very weird thing. The obsession with Israel, when we're talking about foreign countries,
it's hardly an obsession.
you're not talking about Chinese, you're not talking about Japanese, you're not talking about the Brits, you're not talking about the French. The question, what about the Jews?
You asked me why I'm obsessed with Israel.
Yep.
3 minutes after telling me that when you first ran for Congress, you elucidated one of your main goals, which is to defend Israel.
Yes.
And I'm the one who's obsessed with Israel. I don't see a lawmaker's job as defending the interests of a foreign government, period.
Okay.
Any government, including the ones that my ancestors come from. I've never taken money from the Israel lobby. Have you?
Taken money from the Israel.
From AIPAC.
So AIPAC raises a lot of money for me, but it's actually a misnomer because the people who raise money are individuals. So it's not the PAC itself, but they're individual members who believe in the American-Israeli friendship and relationship.
Is AIPAC a foreign lobby?
No, it's an American lobby. It's the AIPAC stands for the America-Israeli Political Action Committee.
What does it lobby for?
So, to be honest, not a whole lot effectively. Growing up in Sunday school, I was taught from the Bible, those who bless Israel will be blessed, and those who curse Israel will be cursed. And from my perspective, I want to be on the blessing side of things.
Of those who bless the government of Israel?
Those who bless Israel is what it says. It doesn't say the government of, it says the nation of Israel. So that's in the Bible. As a Christian, I believe that.
Where is that?
I can find it to you. I don't have the scripture off the tip of my. You pull out the phone and use the.
It's in Genesis. But so you're quoting a Bible phrase. You don't have context for it. And you don't know where in the Bible it is, but that's like your theology. I'm confused. What does that even mean?
Tucker.
I'm a Christian. I want to know what you're talking about.
Okay. Where does my support for Israel come from? Number one, because biblically we're commanded to support Israel. But number two,
hold on.
I'm not holding on.
Hold on. You're a senator, and now you're throwing out theology, and I am a Christian, and I am allowed to weigh in on this. We are commanded as Christians to support the government of Israel?
We are commanded to support Israel. And what
does that mean, Israel?
We're told those who bless Israel will be blessed.
But what, hold on, define Israel. This is important. Are you kidding? This is a majority Christian country.
Define Israel? Do you not know what Israel is? That would be the country you've asked like 49 questions about.
So that's what Genesis, that's what God is talking about.
The nation of Israel, yes.
And so is that the current borders, the current leadership? He's talking about the political entity called Israel?
He's talking about the nation of Israel. Yeah, nations exist, and he's discussing a nation. A nation was the people of Israel.
Is the nation
They're the
God's
descendants of
referring
Abraham.
to in Genesis, is that the same as the country run by Benjamin Netanyahu right now?
Yes.
It is.
AIPAC, I wish were much more effective. Like there are folks online who are in the fever swamp of terrified of AIPAC, and AIPAC.
I'm not terrified of AIPAC at all. You're the one who seems a little uncomfortable when I'm asking.
No, not uncomfortable at all.
I'm just asking what AIPAC does. My understanding, having known a lot of people who work at AIPAC, is that it lobbies on behalf of the Israeli government.
Wrong.
Oh, okay. When was the last time AIPAC took a position that deviated from Prime Minister Netanyahu?
All the time.
Name one.
Okay.
AIPAC is lobbying for a foreign government. And it's not.
No.
It's lobbying for the United States.
It is lobbying for a strong U.S.-Israeli relationship.
Okay. So it's not, has nothing to do with the foreign government.
It wants America and Israel to be closely allied.
Okay. But it's lobbying on behalf of the interests of another country.
So that's not true at all. And if
it's not true.
No. And
how much contact do you think AIPAC leaders have for the government of Israel?
No idea.
My question is not, is it outrageous that foreign governments lobby the United States? They all do, okay, including Israel. My only question is, why don't we admit that is what's happening? You're denying it, but it's true.
Yeah, and why aren't what you're saying is false.
Why aren't they registered as a foreign lobby?
Because they're not. It wants America and Israel to be closely allied.
How many people live in Iran, by the way?
I don't know the population.
At all?
No, I don't know the population.
You don't know the population of the country you seek to topple?
How many people live in Iran?
92 million.
Okay. Yeah.
How could you not know that?
I don't sit around memorizing population tables.
Well, it's kind of relevant because you're calling for the overthrow of the government.
Why is it relevant whether it's 90 million or 80 million or 100 million? Why is that relevant?
Because if you don't know anything about the country...
I didn't say I don't know anything about
Okay, what's the ethnic mix of Iran?
You're the one who claims they're not trying to murder Donald Trump,
No,
You're the
I'm
one
not saying that.
who can't figure out
I'm
if it was
saying
a
you
good
don't
idea to kill
believe-
General Soleimani, and you said it was bad.
They're trying to murder Trump.
Yes, I do.
Because you're not calling for military strikes against them in retaliation. And if you really believe
we're
that,
carrying out military strikes today.
you said Israel was.
Right, with our help. I said we. Israel is leading them, but we're supporting them.
Well, you're breaking news here, because the U.S. government last night denied, the National Security Council spokesman Alex Pfeiffer denied on behalf of Trump that we were acting on Israel's behalf in any offensive capacity.
No, we're not
at all.
bombing them. Israel's bombing them.
You just said we were.
We are supporting
This is
Israel.
high stakes. You're a senator. If you're saying the United States government is at war with Iran right now, people are listening.
Okay, President Trump campaigned on ending the war. I think he's frustrated because Putin has been less than eager to reach a deal to end the war, but it's going to end. You're not going to see another dollar
Do you think
coming from
Zelensky
Congress.
wants to end the war?
I think Zelensky has behaved horribly. I think his Oval Office meeting will go down in history as the worst Oval Office meeting of any leader that has ever come to the Oval Office. I think he behaved like a pompous ass. And I think he is unrealistic. I think Zelensky spends his time with Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer in the New York Times, and he believed he was going to the Oval Office as a resist figure. And I think he's doing real damage to his country right now.
You described him many times as a hero.
I don't recall ever using the word hero. I will say, look, I'm not a Zelensky cheerleader. I absolutely think we need to focus at home emphatically, and we need to focus on prosperity. We need to focus on reducing the debt, reducing spending, empowering people, low taxes, small businesses, American free enterprise. It's the most powerful force for fighting poverty the world has ever seen. I'm 1,000% there.
So what is it costing the support of the bombing campaign to protect Israel right now from Iran?
So I don't know right now. You said the support for Israel very expensive. How much support do we give to Israel?
Well, you tell me. You vote for it.
Yeah, it's about $3 billion a year is the military system.
My question is about results, because I think it's relevant to what we're seeing now in Iran. You look back after having you personally voted to send billions and billions and billions of U.S. tax dollars to Zelensky to support his civil service and the war against Russia and all this stuff. Can you say that what you did worked?
So I can say what I did personally, sanctioning Nord Stream 2 worked and prevented a war. And if Trump had still been there, if the sanction had been in effect, there would be no war. I'm in favor of avoiding wars.
You are saying we need to use military force to effect regime change.
I have not said that.
Oh, I must have.
No, I have not said that once. Okay. I don't think we need to use military force to do regime change. I said I support it. I would like to see it happen.
You said that the single criterion for making decisions about America's foreign policy is America's national interest.
Yes.
That's it.
Yeah. Which is also America first. That's another way of putting that as well.
I think it's the definition of it. Yeah. Does Mossad share all of its intelligence with us?
Oh, probably not, but they share a lot. Really? We don't share all of our intelligence with them, but we share a lot. It's a close alliance.
Do they spy domestically in the United States?
Oh, they probably do, and we do as well. And friends and allies spy on each other. And I assume all of our allies spy on us.
And that's okay with you?
You know what? One of the things about being a conservative is that you're not naive and utopian. You don't think humans are all. Part of the reason socialism doesn't work is the mantra from each according to his abilities to each according to his needs doesn't work. As a conservative, I assume people act in their rational self-interest.
So it's conservative to pay people to spy on you?
It's conservative to recognize that human beings act in their own self-interest, and every one of our friends spies on us. And I'm not.
Do you like it? That's my question. I'm not asking whether they have motive to do it. Of course they do. I understand that. And by the way, I'm not mad at them. And you're an American lawmaker, so I just want to know. Hold on. I want to know your attitude. Yeah. You said that your guiding principle, in fact, the only principle, the only criterion.
I said guiding, the overwhelming. I wouldn't say only.
The single criterion for making decisions about America's foreign policy is America's national interest.
Yes.
Is it in America's interest? Is it in America's interest for Israel to spy on us, including on the president?
It is in America's interest to be closely allied with Israel because we get huge benefits for it.
And wouldn't an American lawmaker say to a client state, you're not allowed to spy on us? I'm sorry. I know why you want to. I'm not mad at you, but you're not allowed to.
Sure.
And I don't care for it. I don't want to be spied on by you. It's kind of weird not to say that, but you don't seem able to say that.
That was the fastest 9 minutes ever. It was
Lots
just
to
like
unpack.
Lots to unpack. He deep fried this man. Double deep fried, double battered. That was crazy.
Bro. I mean, he
The music
probably
made it even better in the background. Do 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 do.
he probably just ended his career.
Yeah,
Granted, he
that
doesn't
was
need he's in, you know,
yeah.
he's have these like crazy mosquito bites. But that was hard to watch.
Yeah.
He said, "Wait, so you're telling me I'm obsessed with Israel when 3 minutes ago you told me the main reason you ran for Congress was to put Israel first."
First. Imagine that being the backing of your whole professional career.
I mean, it's his. So that's what I hear the divide. Not
Lord.
only is there a divide between like the MAGA country, there's also a divide with Christians. I see it online all the time. I see people calling out these people saying that they are going against the word of God and the will of God because of what the Bible says in
Mhm.
reference to Israel. So I wanted to do something and I wanted to pull up the actual verse that Ted Cruz did not know
In
where it
Genesis.
stemmed from, the Genesis. I'm going to share this.
Mhm.
So it is in the Bible. I don't know if you want to read it or you want me to read it. It's only 3 verses. Actually, we
Uh,
can do 4.
you want me to read it, you said?
Yeah, sure. And it's from Genesis chapter 12, verses, let's do 1 through 4. All these ads, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Go for it.
No, that's okay. Now the Lord has said to Abram, am I saying that right? Abram?
Yeah.
Get out of your country, from your family, and from your father's house to a land that I will show you. I will make you a great nation, and I will bless you and make your name great, and you shall be a blessing. I will bless those who bless you, and I will curse him who curses you. And and in wait, what? And in you all the families of the earth shall be blessed. So Abram departed as the Lord had spoken to him, and Lot went with him. And Abram was 75 years old when he departed from Haran.
I
Haran?
think that's, yeah, I think we could stop there. Everything else is like, so that's the biblical text that everybody's referencing when it comes to being there for Israel.
Is that what? You want to break it down? Because I don't see where. I mean, I don't know.
So Abram, which that's it. I gotta get more familiarized with it, but that is it. Maybe we can dumb it down
Your
and look.
mic, I
I,
can't really hear you.
I don't know what's going on with this thing. Is it better?
That's much better. Yeah, it was sounded like you were underwater for like 2 seconds.
Okay, sorry about that.
It's
Let's get the new life version of that verse and see how it comes out. So I'll read this one just because that was the new King James version. So now
Oh,
this
your
is the
microphone's doing it again. Do you want to pause just really
yeah.
quick?
I'll try to figure this out. Sorry about that. I don't know. Something was going on with my mic. So we are going to read the new life version, which is kind of like an easier passage to read. It says, God calls Abram. Now the Lord said to Abram, leave your country, your family, and your father's house, and go to the land that I will show you. And I will make you a great nation. I will bring good to you. I will make your name great, so you will be honored. I will bring good to those who are good to you, and I will curse those who curse you. Good will come to all the families of the earth because of you. So Abram left as the Lord told him to do, and Lot went with him. Abram was 75 years old when he left Haran. That's it. That's the text that people refer to about blessing Israel. We will do a part 2 to this because I want to dig a little deeper. I
Mhm.
just wanted to have reference to what Tucker was kind of like calling Ted Cruz out about.
Does your study guide, the one that we both have, explain that text? It might.
It actually might. I'm glad you said that. So this is a study guide that I use. Shout out Hershey.
Oh,
Um, And I use this because, again, a lot of the biblical text. Ooh, sorry about that. I don't understand. So should we dig in and see what it says about that?
We can, yeah.
That was a good
By the way, y'all, God's been talking to me. Titi Abby, okay, my Abelina, it's Abelina, texted me this morning. She's like, "You're gonna be ready at 9:30," and my text automatic. I meant to just text yeah, and it said yeah, Yahweh.
I
I
said, look
was
at you
like,
saying his name bright and early.
I said,
Yahweh.
what is that? I was half asleep and it woke me up. I was like, what?
She's breathing his name first thing in the morning.
You know, someone said that sound. It's the breath. His
Hmm.
name is a breath. I think you sent that to me.
Yeah, I read that somewhere. I am looking, oh, right here, day 16, Genesis 12, page 48. Let's see what it says. Because Ted Cruz, bruh, we need some context. Actually, all the people who are turning their backs, all the America First people who are turning their backs on uh, Tucker Carlson and Candace Owen, I think they should do a little research.
Yes,
Um,
that's so funny.
I'm gonna read the first paragraph and see if there's anything there. I don't know because it says Genesis 12 to 15th, but it's not down by the verses. It's just chapters.
Oh,
Let me see if I see anything. It talks about Egypt. I love the fact that we can read the Bible and there's places that the Bible refers to that we can just get on a flight and go visit. Egypt, Israel. Not a good time to go to Israel right now, but
or
I think Iran, Persia. Iran is like modern day Persia, and there's a lot of wars that happen with Persia in the Bible.
yeah.
Um, I'm trying to find if there's anything that sticks out to me in reference to that. So it says Genesis marks out Abram was born almost 2,000 years after Adam, but only about 300 years after the flood. Just like Adam and Noah before him, God continues his unique relationship with his family through Abram. He tells Abram that he's going to bless him so that he may be a blessing. This blessing doesn't terminate on Abram. It's ultimately about way more than him. It's about how the Messiah will be born through his bloodline. That's how this family will be blessing to all the families of the earth. All this is a way for Abraham's head. Wait, all this is way of Abraham's head at this point. All this is way over Abram's head at this point. Initially, God just promises to bless him with land and possessions. But there's one problem. The land God promises him is currently inhabited by the Canaanites, enemies of God.
Hmm.
So there's famine. So Abram and his wife Sarai moved to Egypt, and his nephew Lot goes with him, as do all the servants and animals and possessions. Abram is afraid the Egyptian Pharaoh is going to steal Sarai and kill him. So Abram convinces her to pretend to be his sister. And she kind of is because she is his half sister. Pharaoh does kidnap Sarai, and she's basically taken into his harem of wives. God is not okay with it. He has big plans for Sarai. He brings the truth to light via some classic plagues in order to get Sarai released. By the way, she's about 65 years old, so apparently she and Jennifer Lopez share DNA. I don't know. That was
Oh,
weird. I know. I don't know why
what? That was in the study guide.
that's in the study guide. I guess it's a little a little knee slapper there. They leave Egypt and go to Negev, a desert region. God has blessed them with so much that there's not enough grass to feed all of their animals. Adam and Lot decide to part ways. Abram leaves the first choice of land up to Lot, who wastes zero time picking the land that looks the most beautiful and fruitful. Unfortunately, it's also near all the wicked people. He sets up camp near the Dead Sea. Also on my bucket list is the Dead Sea, which, by the way, it's not an actual sea. It's just like a big old lake.
Yeah.
Actually, no, that's the Sea of Galilee is the big old lake. Disregard what I just said. Maybe you have some salt or lotion from his old neighborhood. These little insertions, I'm not a big fan of. War breaks out not long afterward, and Lot is kidnapped. When Abram finds out, he and his 318 warriors who live in his house chase them for over 150 miles until they catch up and get Lot and his people back. Then it just goes, he brings out bread and wine, king of the righteousness. Then God makes Abram a promise that he's going to have a son. Uh, Adam believes God despite his advanced age. His belief in God's word is counted as righteousness, not his actions, not his sacrifices, but his belief. This is consistent with what the rest of the scripture teaches us as well. And then it doesn't really, in the study guide, it does not talk about.
So I pulled up, here's like
Oh, I'm glad you did
everything
something.
that you just, yeah, everything that you just said was basically what I found. It's like an AI overview.
Okay.
Um, but at the very end, it says Genesis 12 as a turning point. This chapter marks a significant turning point, initiating the patriarchal history of Israel with Abraham. So Abram is Abraham.
Yep. Oh,
Yeah,
I knew that. Yeah.
yeah, as the foundational figure. The chapter also highlights God's faithfulness in Abram's journey of faith, even with its imperfections. So, I mean, so, or what you're telling me, if I'm understanding this right, he traveled to Canaan,
Mm-hmm.
which is Israel today. Am I getting that right? Is that what that's what I'm getting from it?
So are you saying, so you're asking, was Canaan Israel?
Yeah, yeah, kind of like how
I think
Persia was. Um,
I think it was in Israel. Not it is Israel. Hold on.
okay,
We're gonna figure this out because Ted
because
Cruz,
I let me
you
tell
should
you
have provided
something.
more context.
When I was a kid, I used to have this book of Bible stories that was supposed to be kid friendly. I was so terrified of Canaan. Well, and I remember when I got older and I realized like there were towns called like New Canaan or North Canaan. And I'm like, we shouldn't go there. Because I'm like all the stories. I'm like, this is scary. It's a place you don't want to go to. And it would be interesting if that is modern day Israel.
So according to Bing, yes, Canaan is in Israel. Canaan refers to an ancient geographical region that included parts of modern day Israel, Jordan, and Lebanon. So it's a region. Over
Yeah.
time, Canaan becomes synonymous with the land of Israel, as Israel's historical context is deeply intertwined with the region of Canaan. The promised land, as described in biblical texts, encompasses ancient Canaan and includes modern Israel. So that
Okay, that's what I was getting
so
from
it
that.
ties
So
in the two. Okay.
that's a little creepy. I'm not gonna lie. That's just a little it's a little wild.
So
Um,
I went to ChatGPT as well. So when you're done, I'll show you what ChatGPT tell me.
yeah, no, go for it. Go for it.
So I just did it because I grew up in church. I grew up going to Sunday school. Pretty much everything that Ted Cruz said. We've all done that. I
Yeah.
remember growing up hearing that we have to bless Israel. The Jews are God's chosen, and Jesus was a Jew. But I never really knew. Now that I'm an adult and seeing these words, because we will talk in a little bit about how badly Bibi Netanyahu, the prime minister of Israel,
It's
had
not
been
his real
wanting
name,
to.
everybody,
It's not
by the
his
way.
real name. We have to do a deep dive with that one as well.
Yeah.
I actually dislike saying Netanyahu. But
Yeah.
he had been talking about Iran and going to war with Iran since the 90s. So over like 30 years. And so as an adult now in my 40s, I'm like connecting the dots. I'm like, I need to do a little bit more research and find this out because growing up in church, I was just told Israel, 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 we have to bless the Jews. So I asked ChatGPT, where in the Bible does it say you have to bless Israel? And this is the response that ChatGPT gave me. The Bible doesn't contain a direct command saying you must bless Israel, in quotations. But the idea comes from a well known promise God made to Abraham found in Genesis 12:3, which is what Tucker and Ted were talking about, or really Tucker because Ted didn't know where it was. I will bless those who bless you, and whoever curses you, I will curse. And all peoples on earth will be blessed through you. It says the context. God is speaking to Abram, later Abraham. There's a lot of names that change in the Bible.
Yeah.
Um, who was considered the patriarch of Israel. of Israel. The descendants of Abraham include the nation of Israel. This verse has been often been interpreted by Christians and Jews to mean that supporting or blessing Israel, Abraham's descendants, brings divine favor. Other supporting verses often cited are Numbers 24:9, where it says, "Blessed are those who bless you, and cursed are those who curse you," spoken about Israel through the prophet Balaam. Psalm 122:6, "Pray for the peace of Jerusalem. May those who love you be secure." Romans 15:27, Paul writes with the Gentile believers Paul writes that Gentile believers have a duty to support Jewish believers. And it says, for if the Gentiles have shared in the Jews' spiritual blessings, they owe it to the Jews to share with them their material blessings. I feel like Romans 15:27 will hold more value than Genesis 12:3. Just saying. Because it says, for if the Gentiles have shared in the Jews' spiritual blessing, if God is blessing you, they owe it to the Jews to share with them material blessings. I feel like that has more weight than the
Yeah.
Genesis 12:3. So here's the summary that ChatGPT gives us. It says, while there is no verse that says you must bless Israel, the Bible strongly implies that those who honor and support the descendants of Abraham will receive blessings. Many Christians take this as a reason to support the nation of Israel and pray for its peace. Get it, respect it. I don't think that necessarily means the government of Israel, the idea
Well,
for Mossad.
here's my take. I
Hot
think
take.
that hot take. I
Get it.
don't I this is so I'm going to censor myself too. So when I'm talking about a specific group of people, I'm going to say apples because that's what we're seeing the
Yep.
little apple carton. You know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So I think these apple people that are kind of the mascot of what we see as the true apple people are not the
The
true
true
apple
apple.
people. And the reason I say that is because I mean, think of again, going back to Candace Owens, I need to find that video and rewatch it. But she talks about how in history, and this is not something so hard to wrap your mind around, but in history, there have been many instances where if one religion, let's just, I'm going to use Christianity as an example,
Mm-hmm.
back in the day didn't understand someone's, I don't know, spiritual gifts or what their beliefs were, it was either you convert to being a Christian or you get killed. This is just the way that it was back in those days. And the people will, convert to Christianity. But what they'd be doing is quietly and overtly mixing their belief system with this forced upon Christianity. So then you have a new form of Christianity that didn't exist before, that this person who was threatened to join Christianity is now adding their own spin on it, if that makes sense. So if
Mm-hmm.
you've had that going on in history for so long, it is not out of the realm of possibility that the original Apple people um, have been infiltrated by a group that knows what the Bible says about
Like the Z people.
them. The Z people, yes, the Z people. Thank you. The Z people and the Apple people, two completely different groups.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think that they infiltrated the Apple people's group for protection, because you can't say anything negatively about the Apple people. You can't. Like, I mean, you're gonna get the Holocaust thrown at you. You're gonna get all of
Right. Right.
these very huge, these genocides and terrible things that have happened in the past. Nobody's negating that. But I think that there is a group of people, the Z people, who are not the original Apple people, have taken that guise as a cover. And whatever it is that they actually believe in, they're infusing it into what the Apple people originally believed in, if that makes sense.
Right. The Apple
Yeah.
people being the true descendants of Abraham.
Right. Yes.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think that just like anything, look at the law enforcement
Mm-hmm.
sector. You have people who are great people, law and order, community policing, want to protect the communities, but then you have the few
Right.
bad apples that give the name of police officers a bad one. And I think
Right.
with the original descendants of Abraham, the biblical scripture says, yeah, bless them. Those who are blessed, those who bless them will be blessed, and those who condemn them will be condemned. But I
Yeah.
have a hard time processing and believing that that includes the modern day Zionists. I'm going to say the Z people.
Mm-hmm.
Bibi Netanyahu, who is the prime minister of Israel, to me,
He's
doesn't
European, by the way,
necessarily,
guys.
huh?
He's European, by the way.
He doesn't necessarily depict the God, like God's chosen people.
Mm-hmm.
He is a corrupt politician. I encourage everybody, if anybody's going to watch this 5 years from now, 2 years from now, even today, anybody that watches this video, go watch the BB Files. You can find it on YouTube, and if you can't find it on YouTube, you can probably find it on Rumble. The BB Files.
Mhm.
This man had the state of Israel had been protesting on the street to get this man out before the Hamas attack happened.
Mhm.
They want him out. He's corrupt. He was prime minister for, I think, maybe like 16 years before, and then they got rid of him, and then he came back. He made his way back. But this gentleman, I don't think is one of the
Apple
original
people.
Jews that God's talking about in the text and that God's referring to when he speaks to Abraham.
Mhm.
I just want to get the years that he was. So he held office from 1996 to 99, and then from 2009 to 2021, and then he finagled his way back in. But he's not. When I look at him, I don't see somebody, a follower of Christ, a follower of
Yeah.
Jesus. I see a narcissist, corrupted politician who had been talking about taking over the region, specifically Iran, for years. Not to
Yeah.
mention, after the 9/11 attacks, I don't even think we could say that anymore, but after that dreadful day, a year later, he was talking to our government officials saying that a safer world would mean a world without Iraq and Saddam Hussein. Actually, I have a video clip I would like to play if that's okay.
Yeah. Go for it.
Just to kind of show that Bibi Netanyahu has been talking about this crap for so many years and people are just tired of it. This video is 2 minutes, but I think it's worth a watch.
Yeah.
And just give me a thumbs up if the audio's on, because I have to literally do every individual page by itself so the audio works.
Mhm.
And we're gonna.
No, I can't hear it.
I think it was recorded like that because earlier.
If you take out
There we go.
Saddam,
Oh, there we go.
Saddam's regime, I guarantee you that it will have enormous positive reverberations on the region. And I think that people sitting right next door in Iran, young people, and many others will say, the time of such regimes, of such despots, is gone. There is a new age, something new is happening.
And that
Iraq,
is speculation on your part, or you have some evidence to that effect?
I was asked the same question in 1986. I had written a book in which I had said that the way to deal with terrorist regimes, well, with terror, was to deal with the terrorist regimes. And the way to deal with the terrorist regimes, among other things, was to apply military force against them.
The way we did in Afghanistan.
The way, for example, I want to answer your question.
Well, I guess I'm running out of time, so I quickly was trying to get there. We've done, I think, what you proposed in Afghanistan, yet I haven't seen that sort of neighborhood effect.
Well, I think there's been an enormous effect. The effect was we were told that there would be a contrary effect. First of all, people said that there would be tens of thousands of people streaming into Afghanistan, zealots who would be outraged by America's action, and this would produce a counter reaction in the Arab world.
But I think you're not saying that when you take an action like we did in Afghanistan, we're going to see all the other countries just fold.
No, what we saw is something else. First of all, we saw everybody streaming out of Afghanistan. The second thing we saw is all the Arab countries and many Muslim countries trying to side with America, trying to be okay with America. The application of power is the most important thing in winning the war on terrorism. If I had to say, what are the three principles of winning the war on terror? It's like, what are the three principles of real estate, the three L's, location, location, location? The three principles of winning the war on terror are the three W's, winning, winning, and winning. The more victories you amass, the easier the next victory becomes. The first victory in Afghanistan makes the second victory in Iraq that much easier. The second victory in Iraq will make the third victory that much easier too, but it may change the nature of achieving that victory.
Guess what? That was a year after that dreadful day. And what did we do? We took out Iraq and we took out Saddam Hussein. And guess what? We were told there were weapons of mass destruction. There were zero. It seems that Israel has a lot to say when it comes to terror organizations and regimes in the region, in that region, and America just does what Israel wants us to do.
because we're owned by them. I mean, I don't mean to get all crazy, but if I went to Israel, right, and the most, I feel like if I was to take an Apple person, okay, from there and line them up right next to one of
AKA the
these,
original descendants. I hope you guys are on the same page.
are connecting that, yeah, I will put, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just trying to censor myself so we don't get nuked over here. No pun intended. Jesus Christ. I'm sorry. um,
Jeez.
um, I'm sorry. I feel like if you look at one of those people, the original descendants, and look at the way the religion is portrayed here, especially in the United States, it's going to be almost comically different. I mean, I like it's so funny how everybody has forgotten about that synagogue in New York. What is it? Remember the synagogue with the freaking tunnels, and you had these Z people coming out of the walls and coming out of the ground, and all of this weird nonsense
That
going
was not
on.
too long ago.
That was not too long ago, and it's like I went down the rabbit hole a little bit. For me, they seem satanic. I'm sorry. There's something weird about them. I know that there's a part somewhere in the Bible, not saying that, you should be poor and strive to be poor your whole life, but I don't think that these people who are getting the riches of the world, okay, because a lot of them are extremely rich, they own so much. I don't think you're doing that and walking in your faith at the same time. In what you're saying is your faith. I don't believe that.
And just for the record, we love all people. We're not, I mean, I want to use the acronym AS, but that means something else in the YouTube realm. But
Yeah.
nobody here dislikes anybody for their ethnicity, religion, sexual preference,
No.
none of that. We love, I mean, come on.
We
And that's
just
what
I'm just
people
calling it how I see it. That's my thing, and I don't think I think that's where what could potentially get me in trouble. But I just put them side by side. You're going to see massive differences. These Z people, okay, they have these very strange rituals that I don't think the original descendants, the A people, would be partaking in. I mean, I don't even know how to say it. It's in their language, but that weird ritual of circumcising a baby and then having the rabbi suck the blood out of the circumcision, like I don't, that sounds satanic to me. I'm sorry, I don't think that
I would love to
is.
know what the reasoning behind that is because it is kind of crazy, but it is their religious thing. I just don't know where it stems from, where that comes from. But I nobody's here, and this, not myself, not Moxie. Nobody's here. Nobody here is anti-Semitic. I'm just gonna come on and say
No,
that.
I just I think that
Just because I don't agree with the Israeli government doesn't mean that I don't have love for the Jewish people because I do.
I just don't know what some of y'all are doing. That's just my take. I mean, I'm just gonna call it how it was. That there was one rabbi, I forget his name, who is doing that. I'm gonna call it what it is. It's a ritual. Like, you could call it whatever you want. It's a ritual. There's no other day on a Tuesday or a Wednesday where you're just sucking the blood out of a baby circumcision. It's just not. That's not a regular thing. It's a ritual. And this man like infected like 20 babies with herpes. Okay, I just don't like. This is very bizarre territory, and my only point in bringing this up is I don't. And you can label me what you want. I don't care. I'm not dying on any hill. I got no skin in the game. I'm not a part of the religion. It doesn't matter to me. I'm not a part of any religion. I just don't understand, and I don't see where the original descendants are going to be looking at y'all in this day and age doing that and being like, "Oh yeah, we do that too." I don't. That doesn't scream the new land. That screams what they were probably still doing when Canaan was Canaan. That is just. I don't. I'm sorry. That's just my opinion. It's not. It's not Abby's opinion. I'm speaking as Moxie, and if y'all don't like it, I'm sorry. It just screams blood ritual to me. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna dig into that and kind of figure out what it means and what it is. But it's funny because we have to walk on eggshells and we're talking about this because um there's this push for individuals to be just silenced, where if you just have an opinion on the Israeli government, you're automatically an anti-Semite. And I think that's the dumbest thing ever. And just so people know, my actual real name is a Jewish name. Did you know that?
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it is. I want to share one more video, if that's okay with you. And it's
Yes.
BiBi Netanyahu. It's about 2 minutes and 50 seconds. I'm going to share it.
It's
And
not his real name. The same way that I'm going to be screaming Isaac Cappy and Virginia G's names out loud every episode, I'm going to
we
tell
are
you
going to
guys
scream
that
their names every
BiBi
episode.
Netanyahu, that is not his fucking name.
That is not his name. She is correct on that one. Just give me a thumbs up. Make sure that the audio is good.
You've probably heard this line before.
Iran has never given up its quest for nuclear weapons and the missiles to deliver them.
That's because Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has been saying this for more than 30 years, claiming Iran is close to having
nuclear weapons. Nuclear weapons, nuclear weapons, atomic bombs.
In 1992, as a member of parliament, Netanyahu addresses the Knesset. He says, within 3 to 5 years, we can assume that Iran will become autonomous in its ability to develop and produce a nuclear bomb. 3 years later, in his book Fighting Terrorism, he repeats the same time frame, 3 to 5 years.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Fast forward to 2002. Netanyahu testifies before a U.S. congressional committee actively calling for the invasion of Iraq.
Are there any other nations that you would recommend that the United States launch preemptive attacks upon at this point?
The two nations that are vying, competing with each other, who will be the first to achieve nuclear weapons, is Iraq and Iran.
The invasion happens months later. No weapons of mass destruction are found in Iraq. This is a fragment of a 2009 US State Department cable released by WikiLeaks. Netanyahu tells members of Congress that Iran is 1 or 2 years away from being capable of developing nuclear weapons.
They're online.
It's 2012, and Netanyahu is holding up his infamous cartoon bomb at the UN General Assembly.
By next spring, at most by next summer, at current enrichment rates, they will have finished the medium enrichment and move on to the final stage. From there, it's only a few months, possibly a few weeks, before they get enough enriched uranium for the first bomb.
And now, 33 years after Netanyahu's first so-called imminent warning, Israel attacks Iran.
If not stopped, Iran could produce a nuclear weapon in a very short time. It could be a year, it could be within a few months, less than a year.
That's despite the US Director of National Intelligence saying Iran isn't building a nuclear weapon months earlier.
Iran lied.
But for Netanyahu,
Big time.
the slogan has been the same for decades. Dmitry Medvedenko, Al Jazeera.
Hello? Oh.
Yes, sorry. I messed up. Yeah.
Okay.
33 years. This man has been saying this.
Every 33 years, it's going to be 1 to 2 years for the past 33 years.
Except we bombed them. So, Tulsi Gabbard. Shout out Tulsi.
She's so fine.
She's so gorgeous. In March, April, May, June, what is that, 12, 15 weeks ago? 12 weeks ago?
Mhm.
Said, we have no evidence that shows that Iran is close to building a nuclear facility or nuclear bombs or weapons. Our defense, I'm sorry, not our defense, our director of national intelligence just said that.
But you know what's interesting? You know what's very interesting? And me and my partner were just talking about this. You remember I told you he has a coworker whose son is getting deployed or whatever? They were talking, and he mentioned something that I looked into. And it's funny because Iran may not have any weapons of mass destruction, but you know what they do have? You know that they are leading in they are leading in military grade cyber. Like they are leading. So it's like I'm wondering if we're screaming all of this, oh, they have these weapons of mass destructions and all of this stuff for so long, because we know when it comes to spying, these people are on the tip top. Like if they're only getting, they are leading. And you would think it's like China or something. It's not. It's
Right. Yeah.
Iran. And there was actually something I saw online that said, oh God, I think I sent it to you. But it came from somebody in Iranian government that said, we're going to prove if your country is not going to release the Epstein files, we'll release it for you.
Let's go.
Yeah, and it was so crazy because I mean, you guys are so scared of Iran. I think that you guys should be scared for another reason, because it is like they are years ahead of us, of China, Russia, when it comes to military grade
I
soldier.
never actually heard that. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's like a thing. It's like a big thing. So it's like, I don't
Then
know.
a part of me wanted to believe that maybe Tulsi Gabbard told the American people that Iran doesn't have these nuclear weapons because there's some things that we shouldn't be privy to. I thought maybe it's
Yeah,
part of strategy. I mean, I don't know. All I know is that Bibi Netanyahu has been saying this for over 30 years. And
yeah.
every president has said this: Bush, Clinton, Obama, all of them have said Iran should not have nuclear weapons.
Mm-hmm.
But this president went and bombed the sites. Something to look into there. I did want to also talk about quickly. I don't even know how to segue into this, but speaking about how the censorship is crazy and you got to be careful, we got to use terminology because places like YouTube or, whatever.
Instagram,
I will be
whatever.
that I will be that jerk and say on YouTube video, shout out to Rumble. Rumble is where it's at. But
Yeah,
you have to be careful what you're saying because you're gonna get, if you're monetized, they're gonna take your money or they're gonna call you anti-Semite. You're gonna have to what is it, the ADL, the
ADL,
Anti-Defamation
yeah.
League, go
Which is
after you.
also an Apple company, okay?
And
Not
also,
Apple as in tech, but
no, I
Apple
think it's more
people,
a
Z
Z
people.
company. It's a Z
Yeah,
company. And our my girl Candace Owens, there's been a shift, and I wanted to segue into this because there's been a shift with people, influencers, talking about the changes that they've seen or have noticed in people like Tucker Carlson and
Tucker
Candace Owens.
Carlson and
Yeah,
Crandis.
Carson go kind of like turning their backs on America because they're no longer, they're speaking up against Trump's decision to bomb Iran. And
Right.
this young lady, we're gonna show her. I'm just gonna let her cook herself. How about that? So I'm
Sounds
gonna put
good.
this here. I'm gonna pause it, and then so we're gonna, and then again, just give me a quick thumbs up to let me know that the audio is working.
Okay, did anybody else watch the Tucker Carlson interview with Ted Cruz yesterday and think, what in the world has happened to Tucker Carlson? I really used to like this guy, but he looked so insane during this interview. He was so offended and acted completely juvenile. It was the most disgusting thing I've ever seen Tucker Carlson do. He looked so bad. He literally made himself look very weak and immature. Did anybody else get that same? I mean, I was watching it with this open mind, thinking this is going to be a great interview, and then it just went downhill really fast. But Tucker was it grossed me out. I don't even think I can watch Tucker Carlson anymore. I really feel like he needs to give an apology to Ted Cruz. It was what a debacle. Anybody else feel the same way? If you haven't watched it, go watch it. Come back, tell me what you think, because I watched it twice and could not believe what I was seeing. Tucker, get a grip, dude. You were so rude, so condescending. It was disgusting. And you know what? And let's talk about Candace Owen, too. I used to like watching her, but she's gone completely crazy and downhill. What is happening with these people? Yeah, just when you think you've got the right people on the right side, boom. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Nadine. Okay, well, first of all, can't even come at Nadine. Okay, y'all people who are paying these influencers, you guys need to make sure the actors are reviewing the source material, because you could tell she did not watch a second. I watched it twice. No, you didn't. You didn't even watch it one time. There was no references to anything. It was the most general, like, I I can't. I can't.
Let's say
And Owen,
let's give her a shout out. Let's give her a shout out. I mean,
she literally, I would have given her grace writing Candace Owen, because a simple mess up. There are a lot of times where my partner's last name, if I'm using like sending something to his email, I forget the S at the end of his last name. I'm like, oh shit, I forgot the S. I get that. But not only did you misspell Candace Owens' name, you also said Owen. Like, you didn't even
you didn't even know her name. And I don't know if I did a good explanation before I play the video and what we
So
were
bad.
getting into. But essentially what we're getting into is the fact that there is this push for influencers to attack big names like Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, Joe Rogan, Steve Bannon, all these people that are
them two specifically, though. You're
them
gonna
too
see a
specific.
trend.
So what? Yeah, there's definitely a trend. So with this specific video, you see her spend the majority, I would say 90-10, the majority of her time speaking about Tucker Carlson. And then it was almost as if she remembered, like, oh, shoot, I forgot to mention Candace Owen. And she's like, oh, and
Yeah.
Candace Owen, there was
I used
no
to watch her
substance.
all the time.
There was no substance
Okay.
there was no substance to her name when she mentioned it. And there was no substance or relativeness to what her point was. At least she provided, okay, the Tucker Carlson interview with Ted Cruz. This is how she feels about that. She had nothing in alliance to what she's saying about, or anything parallel rather, to what she's saying about Candace Owens. It was just like, oh shoot, I gotta say her name.
Yeah.
So Candace went down the rabbit hole, and actually, you can see right here, Candace commented. It's so funny. Candace put, wow, these comments did not swing in your favor. America's tired of forever wars. What happened to me and Tucker's simply we refuse to sell out and are willing to lose our jobs to stay consistent. America first. Somebody wrote, I love this guy. He's so funny. His videos are about the Department of Common Effing Sense. He's so funny. He says, wait, did we watch the same? Did we watch the same? Them Ted couldn't answer a question, whatever that meant. But basically saying, wait, did we watch the same
Probably a
interview?
typo.
Yeah. So people, all these people are like literally.
Who paid you to post this video? Be honest.
Yes,
But it's
literally
so true,
legit.
because it reminds me of one of those, like, those people who do reviews for something that they've never tried, but they were
Yes.
sponsored by the company to try it. And they're just saying the most generic shit that has no substance.
It's a little long, but it's
That's
worth
what that
watching.
reminded me of.
This is a woman. Her name is Nadine.
Oh, I hear your
She
video.
has 6.
Huh?
I heard the video you're playing.
Okay, sorry. So I wanted to show. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you. So wait, you can hear, but you can't see it. That's weird. Okay. So I also wanted to show this because now it's like a little. Were you all saying? I'm sorry. Did I interrupt you? I was.
No, you're good. You're good.
I'm gonna show this what this lady's talking about, Miss Nadine, and then because she has a rebuttal, guys. This lady has how many followers does she have? Hold on. 16,000 followers. Okay, she's on the up. You know, she wants to be an influencer. So let's see what this is about.
It's a little long, but it's worth watching. This is a woman. Her name is Nadine. She has 16,000 followers. And this is the video that she did in reaction to Tucker's sit down with Ted Cruz. Take a listen.
Okay, did anybody
So
else?
we did that. But look at this is what I wanted to point out. Thanks, Candace. That's Candace Owens with an S like snake. Rebuttal coming soon. She's doing it for the clout. It's pretty obvious. But neither of us have actually watched the rebuttal. So I'm gonna play that now.
Oh yeah, we were talking about that earlier. Yeah, I'm ready.
She wants clout so badly, this lady. Here we go.
Wow. So I woke up this morning to Candace Owens with an S commenting on the video that I made about her and Tucker Carlson. So I've got many comments on this and definitely deserves a rebuttal. I don't need to have a pissing match with Candace Owen
You won't
because
win.
obviously I only have my 16,000 followers who
You won't
supposedly
win.
I'm getting paid
You are.
to give my messages to. Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. That was actually the funniest comment on there. No, Candace Owens. I am just a stay-at-home mom with the spirit of discernment, and I most definitely am feeling something is off with both you and Tucker Carlson, and nobody has paid me to say that.
Not just Tucker, it was Tucker and Candace. I'm going to show you just one example, okay? It's a little long, but it's worth watching. This is a woman, her name is Nadine. She has 16,000 followers, and this is the video that she did in reaction to Tucker's sit down with Ted Cruz. Take a listen.
Okay, did anybody else watch the Tucker Carlson interview with Ted Cruz yesterday and think, what in the world has happened to Tucker Carlson?
No one thought that.
I really used to like.
No one thought that. But then she's going to go on to say how she got a barrage of other messages from pastors and other people who were saying the same thing. I guess I'm not alone in this. It was.
And you know what? Let's talk about Candace Owen, too.
Let's do that.
I used to like watching her, but she's gone completely crazy and downhill.
Bot. That's a
But
bot.
I
That's a
highly
bot,
doubt,
ma'am.
Candace, that there's anybody out there paying somebody like me with 16,000 followers to say the obvious, because there's a lot of people who are in the dark who actually listen to all this crap and take it as gold instead of getting into the word of God, having the spirit of discernment, being close with God. When you're close with God and when you're in the word of God and you're in communion with God, you sense these things. These are the things that the Holy Spirit gives you to sense, to protect yourself from people like you guys who are feeding the masses with BS. That's okay. We can have our disagreements on things. But Candace, sorry, you're wrong on this one. The commandment about Israel in the Bible is a covenant. I think you might want to look up what that means when God makes a covenant with a people. So either you don't understand your Bible, you and Tucker are flipping this, or you're getting paid. You're the ones getting paid for sending out this ridiculous message to people. Who's paying you? Wow.
Oh, that was brutal to watch because that was not even a rebuttal. Sorry,
She
take
didn't
the L,
even
ma'am.
do anything. She didn't even say anything.
Take the L, ma'am. Like somebody commented on it. What's wrong with you? Still, no real rebuttal. Just some Jesus
Yeah.
freak talk. Have a genuine argument for God's sake. Okay, people were. All right. Look at you getting all these views now, thanks to Candace. So much that you want to take her on, knowing she will come back at you on the next show. This is what you wanted. I was a fan, but over time, you've just been craving views and likes. So biblical of you. Come back to this comment next week. She will have her comeback and will own you, and you will have yours making you look silly again. You're not a great example of a woman of God. Your witness is shot because you throw out Bible verses, but your character doesn't back it up. Just saying. I'm not a Candace fan, but I'm with her on the fact that I don't want to fight Israel's wars. I want our money and our efforts to be America first. Period. It's not that hard. Doesn't make us anti-Semitic. I don't think God disagrees with us wanting less death. Two things could be true at the same time.
I was just about to say that. And if the thing is, if she was a genuine person and like this was genuinely her opinion about what the Bible says. If people are running with that, the Christians are there people who are Christian that are running with that. I would respect that a whole of a hell lot more. But your first video that you made screamed fake. You didn't even give any. Let me tell you, as somebody with actual discernment, watching you talk about the Tucker Carlson video, I can tell that you didn't watch the Tucker Carlson video. It really wasn't that, like, you want to talk about the sermon and start throwing Bible verses out in your rebuttal, but that seems like some type of cover. You know what I mean? Like, there was, oh my God, girl, go to sleep. Go to sleep.
Candace further goes on her, she's having a field day with this, so she goes further on to investigate. So she puts out a bounty and she talks about how if anybody has been offered any money as an influencer to talk badly about her and Tucker or anything of that nature, to reach out to tips@CandaceOwens.com, which of course people did reach out. If you want to go get, into depth with that, go on her YouTube page, find the video. You'll see there's actual emails and Cash App transactions that were done in paying off influencers to talk badly. But this is where my struggle, not even a struggle, this is where it really ticks me off, is when it goes in the realm of influencers to the religious space. And I have one last video to show and references, and then we'll nip this right in the, you know what. You're good if I show the next clip?
Yeah.
Awesome. And again, just give me a thumbs up, letting me know that the audio is working.
On Sunday, people went to church, whatever church it is that they attend, whatever denomination, and there were a flurry of pastors that preached to their congregation regarding the evils of, you guessed it, Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens. Again, why are we in the same breath? Okay, let's check out this preacher. I've covered his face because I don't think it's relevant. I'm not trying to create an army of people to go after him. It's not what I believe in. I want to attack the substance of what he's saying on stage, not the individual. But here he is. He gets up on stage this past Sunday and he preaches about Candace, Tucker, and a couple of other political people. Take a listen.
Let me just say this. If some of us spent the same amount of time we did on Fox News as we do the Bible, there would be a revival in America today. Some of you listen to Tucker Carlson and Cameron Owen, and these guys are anti-Semitic. I don't care what anyone says. I'm going to say it. They're anti-Semitic, and their rhetoric is dangerous.
And that's not it, by the way. Like, I was watching this sermon going, this is incredible. Listen to who else he mentioned later on.
We're going to have my friend Robert Stearns is going to come here. And he has a unique ministry that God is utilizing him to touch the Israeli people. He knows Netanyahu. He knows all these amazing people. And I met Mike Huckabee, an ambassador of Israel. Let me just say something about Mike Huckabee. He's the real deal.
Oh.
He's the real deal. He's a good man of God.
My God.
What's happening here? Do you want to break that down?
So Tucker Carlson, okay, and Candace Owen. I just don't. Y'all who paid your actors, you could not make sure that they reviewed source material first to get it right. Then you know why? Because these are people with, again, spirit, God, whoever you want to call it, is going to protect those who have a good heart and good intentions. And this is a perfect example of what's the Bible verse? What's the quote? The no, jeez, I'm forgetting. But no sword formed against me shall prosper. I mean, you guys are just you guys are just joking on yourself. You're joking on yourself. It's bad. You look bad. And I think that was God.
Actually quite embarrassing.
It is. You guys all failed. All of you.
Epically.
How does it feel to have a collaborative failure from a bunch of people who don't know each other? That is insane.
And the clip I just showed was an email that went out to several churches that, again, people were sending information to tips@candaceowens.com. And it was just an email that I shared while you were speaking of what people are sending her. This is an actual thing and nobody wants to believe it, but
Mm-hmm.
this is what's happening. This is all manipulation at its finest. Let's get to the churches, let's get to the influencers. And I thought that was pretty
That is
embarrassing,
demonic
actually.
to me. It's demonic to me. That doesn't seem it's coming from a religious group of people that are walking in their faith. It doesn't. It doesn't. Sorry.
This was a great conversation today. It had
I don't
been
know who they're walking by, but it ain't in the faith. I'm gonna tell you that.
it ain't in the faith.
Mm.
Yeah, I just wanted to share these videos because I think that people need to learn to have their own, discernment, critical thinking, read the scripture. I'm going to get more familiarized. I know I'm actually intrigued. I want to speak to my family members who are Christian, and
Mm-hmm.
their faith is everything to them, and they studied the Bible and they've done the schooling and they've done it. I want to know what their opinion is on this. I'm not a scholar. I'm not a historian. But one thing I will say is that I don't understand this loyalty to the government of Israel, not the
Mm-hmm.
Jewish people of Israel. And I think they're conflating the two, and it's worked for decades, years, more than decades, actually. And I think people are waking up to the fact that this isn't our war and we need to
Yeah.
stand down. No troops on the ground. No boots on the ground. We need to sit this one out.
Yeah, I agree. A joke. These people are a joke. And it's not a funny one. It's a scary one. Because it like you see how you can just pay anybody to say anything. You mix that with the power of AI that we have right now. It's scary.
It's true. It's true. It really ticks me off too, because talking about our alliance to Israel, um, Trump, after we bombed Iran, put out the longest tweet in the history of his tweets, just praising Bibi Netanyahu and saying it could have never gotten done without the two of them working collectively together. And he's disappointed that the state of Israel is still going after him, this witch hunt. Remember what I said earlier in the pod? They were going after him with corruption charges, and people were protesting his leadership, and they wanted him out. And right after that happened, Trump is praising this man and saying that he should be, at the very least, pardoned, and if not, charges dropped. And it was very disappointing to see. Yes, they're our ally, but it should always and forever be America first. And
Do
that's
you want to
all I have.
close out with that clip of Anna Kasparian that we were talking about earlier?
Yes, thank you for reminding me. Oh man, I would have been so ticked off. Yes, yes. We'll do this. We'll close out with this last clip, which is Anna Kasparian. For those who don't know, I'm sure a lot of people know who she is. She is an executive producer and host of the Young Turks,
She's been
which,
with them a long time. Yeah.
yes, she's Armenian American, and she's America first. She's not a conservative Republican, but she is, however, America first. And that's something that I wanted to show. I'm so glad that you reminded me, because I would have forgotten. And this is going back to what you said. She broke it down as a quick, like, bang, bang, bam. This is what's happening. A quick little refresher. So I will show that again. Just let me know. I do have to do a new
Yeah.
one because make the audio. But she goes ham, and she does this time and time and time again, not just on emotion, but all factual based. And
Mhm.
people seem to not like when people spit facts when it comes to the descendants of Abraham. So I am going to share the page, and here we go.
Not one IDF soldier was sent to Iraq. Our soldiers died on your behalf, Conriquez. This has been all about engaging in a regime change war. That's what this is. Anyone who's pretending like this is about nuclear weapons is lying to you. Again, the United States is forced to fight another war on behalf of Israel. And I just want to ask Conriquez a question real quick, because I'm seeing a lot of videos of Israelis leaving Israel to go home to the United States or to Greece or to other European countries. You guys got what you wanted. You guys got your war. Are you expecting American troops to fight this war and die on your behalf? Or are you going to bring the Israelis back, tell them to put their fatigues on and get ready for a ground invasion, because if they want regime change, they're going to need a ground invasion, and Americans shouldn't be forced to do it. However, I think what Iran was doing, considering the fact that they're in a region of thugs in Israel who clearly have been announcing that they want regime change in Iran, they wanted a deterrent. I think that's what they were doing. And as this war in Gaza, this genocide in Gaza continues, I think they wanted some form of a deterrent, much like Israel has with their over 90 nuclear weapons that they don't acknowledge, of course. They're not part of the non-proliferation treaty, even though Iran was. Just really interesting comparisons there.
So
No,
is our own
I don't like watching children get slaughtered by a genocidal regime that we're unfortunately funding with our taxpayer dollars and with military weapons. That's what I don't like. Look at Conriquez. Look at how flippant he is when it comes to children getting killed. That's the kind of person you are, Conriquez. Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. But regime change should not be spurred by the United States and Israel, which wants to install a puppet government on their behalf.
She explained it so well because I was very confused. Like I said, when everything was going down, the way she explained that, it opened my eyes. I'm like, wow, it makes sense. I mean, we are the United States of Israel. I'm sorry, but it is.
I'm actually glad that you brought that up, and I'll end it with this last statement, and then you can give your final thoughts. I'm
Yeah.
glad you brought it up because she's right. It is about regime change. They want a new government to run Israel. It's about regime change. It's always been about regime change. And not too long ago, we had JD Vance saying, listen, guys, Donald Trump doesn't want a new regime in Iraq. I'm sorry, in Iran. They're getting them confused. Iran needs to do this on their own. We shouldn't do this. And subsequently, Donald Trump puts out a tweet after his vice president said Donald Trump doesn't want a new regime. I'm sorry, new regime in Iran. Donald Trump tweets on his Truth Social. It's not called a tweet, but whatever. He says, it's not politically correct to use the term regime change. But if the current Iranian regime is unable to make Iran great again, why wouldn't there be a regime change? MEGA, make Iran great again. Some might dispute MEGA means make Israel great again. I'll leave that up to your interpretation. But again, it's not politically correct to use the term regime change. But if the current Iranian regime is unable to make Iran great again, why wouldn't there be a regime change? So he literally just doubled down, and he kind of just made JD Vance look like an idiot.
And imagine that's your VP, dude. Like, I just don't. I mean, it's funny, and maybe I'll end it with this. It's interesting. This is why, and I'll be very blatant. You guys can come at me in the comments if you want. I didn't vote solely because I don't believe in anything that's going on. I think everything's fake. I think it's a puppet show. I think that there's a lot of people pulling the strings in American politics and the politics of government all over the world in general. And I think that voting is not, maybe at one point in our past it worked. I don't think it works anymore just because QAnon actually said it. Q said it best. It's not president-elect, it's president-select with an S. They're going to pick who they want that's going to be in there. And I think it's very disturbing that Kamala Harris said, and I believe that it was during the debate, she said, maybe she let something slip because, again, they're all part of the same team in my opinion.
Oh, I know where you're going with this one.
She said, if you vote for Trump, within 6 months, we will be at a war, or a war is going to start.
At war, yeah,
and
we'll be at war.
We'll be at war. And it's just interesting to me that all of these puzzle pieces are falling in line. And Israel, again, getting what they want. They've been getting what they want with every single president that has
regime
backed them.
change,
Everything that's been going on. So I think that we are starting to pull the veil a little bit on you guys have heard me say this multiple times, the nameless, faceless puppet masters that are running the show. I think we're getting a little glimpse of who some of those people are in Israel. We're looking at you. So it's my opinion.
Shout out Virginia Guy-Free.
Yes.
Isaac Happy. We will say
Gouffre,
your name.
yes.
What, Gouffre? I'm sorry, Virginia Gouffre. Why did I say it like that?
It's okay. It's the way it's spelled. I know.
Virginia Gouffre and Isaac Happy release the Epstein files. Pam Bondi, where you at? You've been silent. And that's all I have to say today.
And that's in case you haven't heard. Now you know. Thank you guys for watching with us or joining us watching. Yeah, stay blessed.
See you
Bye.
later.